Hello everyone, it's Connal Finlay here, the owner and director of the Cellar store down in New Zealand, and welcome to today's episode of the Cellar TV. So, what we're going to be trying today is one of my favourite producers at the moment, and it's from a region I'm absolutely enamoured with. If you haven't already seen a few of our other videos, please do, and especially our big New York wine review, or from our Instant Wine Expert series. It tells you a big rundown of some of the, well, basically, it gives you a rundown of the whole of New York State, both Long Island and the Finger Lakes. And so this is one of the leading producers. Here's a little close-up for you that we're drinking today. It's from Wolffer Estate, one of the leading producers in Long Island. They're from the South Fork, right in the heart, basically, of the Hamptons. And so they're also one of the oldest wineries around there. They've been set up since the 1970s, if I'm correct. And this is their Perle Chardonnay from the 2014 vintage. And so this is one of their top-end Chardonnays from their Reserve white label range. Anyway, so this is absolutely fantastic. And as I say, one of my favorite sort of producers, and brilliant, bloody brilliant Chardonnay. So anyway, let's give it a little bit of a sniff. So this particular wine, I'd like to point out, we did actually, because it is so complex, but I have often found from trying them in tastings and things like this, that this particular wine does very, very well with decanting it at least a couple of hours beforehand. Well, an hour and a half, 2 hours. In particular, us today, we did 2 hours, just because there is so much going on in here, and some very quite subtle and complex characteristics, which you don't really get to appreciate if you open it up straight away and then pour right into your bottle. So please do decant this wine if you're going to try it, because well, let's put it this way, you're going to be forgiven if you do, but not if you don't. So, on the nose, there's a lovely, lovely sort of crisp red apple sort of aromatic straight away for me, and then it does start to sort of open up and warm up a little bit more, and these beautiful, rich white fruit flavors start coming through. There's a lot of white peach, a lot of white nectarine comes through here. There's a bit of pear comes through as well, and then these beautiful sort of lemon balm and lemon pith sort of characteristics come through as well. But what I love about this is that it ties in the absolute best of sort of Burgundian Chardonnays, those sort of crisp and clean, those beautifully sort of poised Chardonnays from up in Burgundy along the Côte de Blanc. But it also sort of brings in the best of the New World, which is what Wolffer Estate have done time and time again. And then there's this beautiful sort of rich and complex aspects from the oak aging and all the rest as well as quite an extended lees aging, which is aging on the yeast cells, which sort of imparts this sort of beautiful, and especially now, quite a lot of nuttiness. There's these sort of water chestnuts, these almond flavors coming through, sort of hazelnut butter, and then there's a little bit of vanilla butter, and this lovely sort of toastiness, which really is just brings it all together. There's this toasty, these nuttiness, and then there's these beautiful sort of white fruit and fleshy sort of citrusy flavors coming through as well. So as I said, it is a very complex wine, and it does definitely need a little bit of decanting beforehand to really open up. So let's give it a little taste. So on the palate, this is very, very rich, very, very, very textural. There's a really lovely creamy aspect to this wine. Always, always surprised by just how good this wine is. And so, as I say, there's a lot of creaminess here, a lot of mouthfeel for you. It's about, well, sort of medium to medium plus sort of body as far as the pellet weight is concerned. And even though it is quite creamy and does have those sort of oaky aspects there to them, it's very, very much in the background, and it allows the fruit to really sort of sing out. So we are getting a little bit of those sort of nuttiness, those sort of background baking spices and all the rest. But first and foremost, this wine is very much a sort of a white peach, those white nectarines, those citrusy sort of aspects as well. There's a slight sort of vanilla smokiness coming through, which which is just lovely and very, very complex. But I must say, on the palate, and especially, just going to go back to it now, that sort of nuttiness is really, really coming through a whole lot more. And if you've tried any sort of aged Burgundy or even sort of aged sweet wines, they do tend to have those sort of nuttiness, those very sort of complex, sort of dried mango, sort of dried peach sort of flavors, or sort of really, really concentrated flavors as well. And that's definitely starting to get a little hint of that on the palate as well as on the nose now as well, which means, and I have tried quite a few aged versions of this particular wine as well, which means that this particular wine, well, the 2014, but all vintages of the Perle Chardonnay, they're made to last. They've got that acidity there, and they've got a whole bunch of fruit in there, a whole bunch of really, really complex and interesting aromatics, which is going to be really just developing over the years and over the years. And so this is wine. This is a wine to drink now, drink early, drink fresh, and drink young, because there is a lot going on here. But every single year that it ages, it's just going to become more interesting, more complex, and more developed, and just more sort of toasty and interesting. Anyway, so this has been the Wolffer Estate Perle Chardonnay. So please do like away. Comment away below. Let us know if you've tried this particular wine or any other wines from Wolffer Estate. Their Chardonnays are absolutely beautiful. Some of you have probably tried their rosé, and their summer bottle rosé. We're going to be getting more of that for summer a little bit later on this year, that we're going to be getting our next shipment in from them, which is very exciting for New Zealand and potentially Australia as well. Anyway, so if you are wanting to have a bottle of this, which I highly do recommend getting at least a couple of bottles, one for now and a few for your cellar to try again in another year, 2 years, and maybe another one for 4 years time or something like this, and you really are going to be rewarded. All the information is below. This particular wine is $60 online, and so yes, it might seem expensive, but then again, for this quality, I actually think it's a real steal, especially compared to many sort of Burgundian Chardonnays and all the rest as well. Anyway, so please do, as I say, like away, comment away, let us know if you tried this wine, if you like this wine, and all the rest, and subscribe. That's much appreciated from everyone here in the Cellar Store team. And of course, please do share around with all your friends and family on Facebook and things like this as well. I've been Connal. I'm going to drink the rest of this glass because it's absolutely delicious. And anyway, as for now, cheers.